Welcome to the ISB show live from San Diego, California. Team lost the SheBelieves Cup final to Japan. A lot to discuss, Ishana. We, of course, were at the match and we were so excited to celebrate with all the US national team fans. Wow, what a letdown of epic proportions.
Yeah, I thought they might walk away with a tie and then we'd end up losing the tournament, but I was not expecting us to lose. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, lot of stuff to discuss, lot to talk about for all US women's national team fans that have been enjoying these videos. Please subscribe to the channel. A lot of women's soccer coverage to come. But okay, let's start off with lineup choices because that's what we got to talk about. Emma Hayes lineup choices. We get into this match. Were there any lineup surprises for you?
Yeah, look, we've talked about this before and we ended up calling our brother, who's also a correspondent on this podcast, to discuss the same thing. And personally, I think that Emma Hayes' downfall is going to be a bit of her stubbornness. And I know that's a little bit of a hot take, but she is so tethered to the ideas she has with her lineups with the Olympics, for example, always starting at the same, keeping to it, even though the players were tired. In this case, I completely understand utilizing this entire tournament to showcase young talent to see what they can do. However, in the final, I was really just shocked to see Mikion back there. I was just, I don't know. I was surprised she didn't play Tierna Davidson. And, if you hear her post-game interviews, she is like going to die on this hill. She's like, I know about player development. I want to see what these young players can do. I want to monitor injuries, which that part I completely understand. But it's just the whole structure of this tournament, to be honest, really confuses me because it's hard to say what the line is in terms of, is it a tournament or is it just a friendly? There's a trophy, there's the name of the tournament's kind of patronizing. It's all very confusing. So I don't know quite how she approaches it. I don't know how the players approach it. It's just a little messy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I I have also a hot take on this particular topic. Maybe I believe like when it's called cup, regardless of whatever the tournament, and when it's when you're bringing your fine, we won't call it A team, whatever players, you're bringing some of the A team players, right? We'll say that, and you're trying to come into a tournament which happens to be during a FIFA window, right? It I think you owe it to the fans and everyone there to try and win the tournament. Being a fan of the national team and going into watching a match like this, I want to see when a cup is on the line from start to finish. I want to see the top players that we have at that particular for that particular match play the match and try to, I'm not saying they didn't try to win, but I'm saying I
Mhm.
want to see those top players start the match.
Yeah, and obviously we're missing triple espresso, and part of that is maybe some personal reasons, and I understand why people might opt out of this tournament. We're obviously missing Naomi Gurma, big presence back there, but I do agree. Even looking, we saw it live, and the fandom at this, and like the numbers people brought out, and just how excited everyone was to support this team, and just the reaction with everyone. You could just hear everyone was like, this is not the US national team we're used to, And I mean, look, regardless of Emma's lineup choices, I also think that the um we did not have our best game, like
Yeah.
many players and many starters, you know, beyond just that fact, but also the subs choices she made, I thought were also confusing. If she does want to, first of all, yes, utilize the rest of the tournament to try out these new people. But in the final, I don't know about that. But okay, say you don't. I don't know why you would bring, like, why wouldn't you bring Emma Sears maybe instead of Jaden Shaw to play in that wing? We know she has speed up there. We know, she can do things up there. Subbing out Kat Macario because of injury prevention, okay. Tierna Davidson, same issue, okay. But, like, I don't know, I just, like, I
Yeah.
don't it was weird to me.
Yeah, let's talk about the match. Did anyone play well for you? I mean, starting from back to front. Okay, like starting from the back, Jane Campbell, because she had the ability in this match to prove herself. Okay, I'm going to be the new number one after Alyssa Nair. And frankly, I thought she was partially at fault for the first goal, and in my opinion, definitely at fault for the second goal.
The first goal, I really think I mean, to be honest, it happened so fast, especially live, we barely sat in our seats and we're like, "Oh my god."
We're
I
down
it
a
was
goal already. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was more of a defensive miscommunication, and that happened a few times, to be honest, where we couldn't the back line, the chemistry just wasn't really there. I think you have a harsher take on her performance than me. I thought she settled into the game. I mean, the goal obviously that maybe she should have punched out. I personally think that was a decent first save, but yeah, you can tell she was kinda kicking herself for it, and I do think that McGlynn showcased a better performance than she did. However, how much of that is her fault and how much of it is also just miscommunication with the defense, I don't know. So,
Yeah.
it's yes, so starting there, then I would say Sonnet and Foxy look, they had decent games. I mean, Foxy did lose the ball a few times, but recovered. I didn't have an issue with their performance. It's just that nobody took risks. Like,
Yeah.
and look, gonna get back to the players in a second, but just jumping ahead,
Yeah.
this team does not know how to play when we're down. I mean, we've seen this scenario rarely, and it is something they need to learn, but when we were down, they were playing as though we were winning. I mean, so many passes, so many touchbacks, recycling the ball, playing backwards, not taking chances. You saw people like Alyssa Thompson, who clearly she could do something, did not take any chances. And then finally, when people did, when they took strikes like Tierna Davidson at the end from afar, we should have been generating that kind of forward motion throughout.
That's the thing. I've seen a lot of teams do this, and I frankly don't understand because obviously having played the game, right? Not anywhere close to the level that these players have, but I'm saying
Understand.
just you just in the yeah, that's a big understatement. But in those moments you realize like there you need to take more risks because you're down, right? And I think some of the teams are able to adapt to situations. The one issue I have with this U.S. women's national team is, like you said, in this particular match, they know they need to score 2 goals. But like you said, Alyssa Thompson's going forward, passing the ball, bringing it backwards, then, trying to cycle the ball around, like you mentioned. And everyone in the crowd was just, saying, like, look, this is not going to work. We can see it not going to work because Japan has very good press too. Like the Japan press pressures you and cuts off that space. So you're not going to find those angles. Someone's going to have to break that line, to try to get through and give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's a question of I wondered like, are they just not taking risks because even the players are approaching it like a friendly, like they don't want to get injured. We don't want to see them get injured. A player like Foxy, for example, has big Champions League matches coming up. I don't know. It's just like a really
Yeah, I
hard thing to
never bought
say.
that argument because I think every time they put on the national team jersey, I do think, especially in a final, and I mean, whatever you want to say, there was a trophy presented at the end of the match, and the
Yeah.
team, walked into the locker room while Japan was celebrating around the field in the U.S. Right in the U.S.'s home ground. So
Well, the interesting thing about it was so we watched, the Colombia-Australia game before as well,
right,
and particularly in the second half, like, Colombia was so much fun to watch because, sure, they made these same mistakes that the US were making in this game, losing balls, things like that, but they were playing with so much intensity, and they were generating so much, and they were taking so many chances, and it eventually did pay off, and like, I thought Usme, for example, had such a great second half, and even, like, Linda Casado, she, was dribbling a bit too much, but I will say, like, I in the same vein, Ali Setner, for example, did not have a great game. She lost the ball a lot. However, I still appreciated that she took a lot of chances. And again, it did pay off as well. Like, I found there was just not a lot of that with any of the players. So, back to your original question, who are the players that stand out? There was only really two I thought who were decent. One I have to say is Lily Johannes, and I think she I still I look, I understand, I get she's young, I get she has so much, so much time and room to develop, but I do think she is still a little casual on the ball in the back, and those defensive errors I think might be costly in certain times. However, she is probably the only midfielder who has this like almost messian kind of like periphery where she just passes these she's such an excellent passer, and it's like she takes a second and she's so calm on the ball and it generates forward motion.
Yeah.
And so I thought she had a decent game. I actually thought Macario had a good game. I thought she was super physical, and I really think if she would have been left on the pitch, I think that she would have scored. And obviously I get, she's coming back and stuff like that, but I don't know. I mean, I if she can play the full 90 minutes, I would have liked to see her play.
Yeah, I agree. I think those are good standouts as well. All right. US women's national team fans, unfortunately, we didn't get it done. Congratulations to Japan. One note on Japan we'll say real quick is, obviously this is a very good Japanese team, and to come out and expect to beat a team like this without playing your best game, I think was very naive from a US perspective, if that was the thought. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I mean, Tanaka, without a doubt, very much deserving of MVP of this tournament. She's been spectacular throughout. So, congratulations to them. It was also nice to see there were a lot of US soccer fans here, but there were a lot of Japanese soccer fans as well. And I love to see the sport growing and just, seeing them celebrate was cool too.
Yeah, and in the end, this is a show that we want to talk about all international teams. I know this specific video is very U.S. focused, and we are right now aftermath of losing a cup final. So we're thinking about that, but I think we should, in a separate video at a separate time, talk about how good the Japanese team actually is. So for those of you out there, again, I'll say it again, enjoying these videos, please subscribe, and we will come to you with more coverage of the U.S. women's national team, of women's soccer in general. Shauna, one final sentence before we finish this video. Here we go.
I mean, I gotta say I'm a little disappointed, but I still saw some good things, even from Alyssa Thompson, from Sam Coffey. There's some good stuff, and I'm just excited to have our girl Germa back, our triple espresso, and hopefully a solidified keeper. And yeah, I think I think it was nice maybe to see another team win. And I think it's important for us to understand how to play when we have our back against the wall, and now we know what we need to work on.
Yep. So everyone out there, congratulations, Japan, on winning the SheBelieves Cup, and USA, come back stronger. Go USA.